can we upload our review paper draft and ask it to be connected with other relevant review papers? So you cannot upload directly, but what you can do is that you can summarize. So you can extract the main idea of your review paper and then paste that one single sentence to connected paper, and then try to connect to other similar review papers. What is the difference between using Google Scholar and Scholar GPT? And which one would you recommend using, going by the traditional method or leveraging AI? So it's the same as, it's very similar to if you use Google or if you use Gemini, right? So if you just use Google, you still need to go through every content, every item, and determine which one is relevant to your research question, right? But using Scholar GPT or similar like Elicit, they synthesize the answer for you. So they are kind of a gatekeeper. So in this case, of course, I would say using traditional ways still better. So that means you have the autonomy to determine which paper is relevant to you. But of course, the later one is more efficient, right? So again, depends on if that search is really the center of your research question, or it's more like, okay, I just need to get a quick overview of it because it's not really the main focus of my study. Okay, so I hope this answers your question. So for those who would like to submit your assignment, you can go to, let's see. So you can go to our learning platform and click Submit Assignment. And I enable the submission of different types. So now you can also submit an image or a Word document, or you want to share the link of the Notebook LM page, you can also do it, but only when all the material are open access, okay? Okay, so let's take a look of what we have here. So we have submission here. We have a number of people already submit their assignment. So let's take a look of your submission. Okay, so that is from Salma. But I think your infographic is only partially shown. But that is a good one already, right? So you can see the connection between different elements, different concepts. Okay, what about, I saw a very nice one. I think it's this one. Yeah, so this is a very nice one already, right? So you have the English dream perception of language and development in rural Bangladesh, right? And you see, oh, it's really nice, right? Connecting all the important information in your material. Okay, so that is some good example. So let's take a look here. If you share a notebook, yeah, so when you share the notebook, you always need to make sure that you open the access to the other. So for example, here, then it is not directly available. Okay, let's take the final one. I select this one. Okay, this is just a paper. Okay, it's not the right one. Yeah, that is the one we want. So this is another infographic, right? So you can see how the primate brain compute fast motion. Oh, that's also very, very nice. Okay, so this kind of infographic is nice when you want to get some inspiration for a poster, right? For example, if you want to present in a conference or poster, then you can get some inspiration. But I will not recommend you directly using it because it's so recognizable. It's made from Notebook LM. I can recognize it immediately. You can also see the watermark here, but it serves as some inspiration for you. You can also use some of the elements. So for example, you can take a screenshot of this element and then use this element in your final presentation, right? So that's something you can do instead of just use the output directly. You can treat the output as your input. Okay. Okay, and this afternoon we are going to work on another topic which is very, very relevant for most of you, is text analytics and annotation. And so, for example, if you want to understand how social media posts influence stock market price, sentiment of the discussion of social media, how it's influenced several, some dependent variable, etc. Or you want to understand some insight from your interviews, from your focus groups, you can use large language model now to process your text data. Previously, if we want to process text data, what do we do? Anyone has experience of using NLP, natural language processing, before? So what do we do when we want to process text data without large language model? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you need to follow, first you need to clean the text, right? You need to, for example, remove the stop words like the, and, this kind of stop words that are meaningless. You need to remove some number, remove the URL. You need to do the cleaning first, and then you need to put them in the bag, right, etc. And then do the, the TF, LDA, etc. So these are how you do it without large language model. And here is a kind of an overview of methodological approach. So the most traditional one is using counting or dictionary. So for example, you want to understand how people's opinion about your about like Donald Trump, right? So we want to understand the social media sentiment. So what we can do is that we can count, the emotional word they use in their Twitter or in their, on their Facebook. So when they post something about Donald Trump, what kind of word is used there? So it's a dictionary approach. Then you create a bag of, a dictionary with all the positive emotion and a dictionary with all the negative emotion, right? So you can count, okay, this tweet contain, okay, 10 negative emotion and then 10 words of positive emotion, etc. So this is the traditional way of doing natural language processing. Okay, you can also do supervised learning or unsupervised learning if you have some training data set, right? You can also do that. Okay. So let's focus on the first one, which is topic modeling. So if you want to, your research question is that you want to understand people's opinion, or when people discuss a certain topic on Reddit, what are the main topics they're discussing? So for example, you get a lot of data from Reddit, the social media where people can discuss a certain topic. Okay, when they discuss about Donald Trump, what are they talking about when they mention Donald Trump? So this is a kind of a topic modeling, right? So you want to know, okay, what are the topics are there? So are they talking about political or geopolitical conflict? Are they talking about the tariff? Are they talking about migration, etc.? So you want to know the topic they are talking about when they in this group. So classic approach is that you will use LDA or NMF, which are some algorithm for you to divide different entry, different text into different categories. Okay, so you will have a large corpus. So corpus is the text. You can consider as the text, and you need to clean it, and then you create document term matrix, and then you need to determine how many topics will be there. You need to keep a K already. Okay, I will select 10 topics. And then you will go through the statistical estimation and then come up with the 10 different topic list. But the list you will get is not, it will just the word distribution. You still need to go back to the original. You will know, okay, all these article they are about, they're in this topic. So you need to go through different article and then to come up with a common feature of this article yourself. So you still need to be the one to label what each topic means. What you get is just the bag of articles and also the keyword. They share the same pattern. Okay, so for example, when they talk about immigration, maybe they talk about, you have some keyword, top keywords, maybe it's Mexico, maybe it's like, okay, the building the wall, something like this, right? So you have some keyword that define the topics. When it's tariff, then you have inflation, you have like topic related to China, for example, right? So then you need to determine based on the keyword what topic it is. So that is the traditional one. But now we have the large language model, which means they can understand the context very well. They can read it and then come up with the theme, the topics itself. Okay, so that is why we now replace large language model. We are now going to replace LDA, NNF with large language model based approach, because it will be more effective and it can understand the context and the accuracy is much higher. Okay, so what about the effectiveness, the accuracy of it? So here are a number of publications. So, but they are a little bit old. So I would recommend you, if you want to argue with your reviewer, you know, sometimes your reviewer say, why you don't use LDA? Why you want to use a large language model to do topic modeling? Then you can use, you know, all these reference to back up to support your point, you know, okay? Because previous study, they found out if you want to analyze short text, for example, Twitter text, right? In this case, it is not good to use LDA. A large language model perform much better. Okay, then you can use our first paper is actually my paper that you can use it to argue. Okay, and there are more paper coming out, but I think the key message are very similar. So they perform similarly with human, you know, with traditional. They certainly perform better than traditional algorithm, but compared to human, they're more or less similar. Okay. So how can we do it? So first, we can split the corpus into subset. So for example, if you collect 1,000 tweets from Twitter, then you can split this corpus into two subsets. One subset contains 500 tweets, the other contains 500 tweets. Okay, and then you will use just copy paste. The most easy way is just copy all the 500 tweets or upload it to ChatGPT and ask it to come up with the main theme, the main topics of this text. Then ChatGPT will give you, for example, 5 topics. Okay, then you write down all the 5 topics. Again, you do the same thing with your other 500 tweets to see if you get the same topic list. You repeat the process again using another model. So now you don't use ChatGPT anymore. You use Gemini. Repeat the same approach to see. So in the end, you will get 4 topic lists. And then you compare the consistency between across different topic lists. Okay, and then you are the one who decide whether you want to merge all of them together, because based on my experience, they are highly identical. Okay, so but they will be some slightly different. Maybe this one has 4 topics only. This one has 6 topics. So you are the one who need to decide in the end which topics you want to include in the final list. Okay, so that's how we do it. Clear? Yes.
Thank you. Obviously, 1,000 tweets is a small sample. So where is the threshold?
It depends on your context window. We know for GPT, the context window is 256,000 thousand token, which means you probably 1,000 tweets is perfectly fine. But if you have, for example, 1 million, right? What should you do? You draw a small sample, because if it's larger, your sample size is larger than 10,000, it will not make any difference. So you just draw a subset because your large language model is not going to support so much text. You need to draw a sample out of it to be able to do that. You will get an error message if you run it. They will say, okay, it is too long, your text is too long, so they will not run. Okay. And if you have a small sample size, like if you are doing interviews of like 20 interviews, then you don't need to split into 2 subsets. It's fine because it's so small. You only have 20 interviews, right? So you don't need to split into 2 subsets. But if you have a lot of items and you want to make it more rigorous, then I will advise you to split it into subsets. And the prompt you can use really simple. Try to use as the simple as possible. Just ask it, identify the main topics. That's it. So make it as simple as possible. But then you can revise the prompt a little bit. Okay, maybe you want it to focus on a certain topic. Maybe focus on, for example, if you're going to analyze the Trump tweet, and you just want to focus on geopolitical topics, then you can add a sentence, okay? Try to identify main topics related to geopolitical issues, right? So that is how you revise. So start with the cleanest prompt as possible, and then add little bit by little bit. Okay, so let's do an exercise together. So I already give you an interview zip file where you can download. So you can take a look at the script. And now you are going to ask a large language model to propose theme on a subset. You can do, let's take a look together. So you go to our course learning platform. Okay, and you can download here. So now we have the afternoon section. So you can download the interview data. Okay, that we have an interview data here. You download it and try to read. You can unzip it and read each one. Okay, transcript number 1 is a psychology PhD, and then you can see the interviewer asks, "Thank you for sitting down with me," and then you can see, okay, all the interview transcript here. Okay, and now your task is analyze the topics, the main topics people are discussing across 12 interviews. So still remember the first step is that we can randomly split it into 2 subsets, right? So let's create a subset 1. Subset 2. And you just randomly assign them. This is not a good way, okay, to assign it, but you need to randomly assign, okay? I just want to show you how to do it. So randomly assign them. Okay, now you have 2 subsets, okay? Let's start with Gemini first. So let's go to AI Studio because AI Studio is Gemini, right? So what can we do? We just, again, we need to set this, okay? Temperature, should we make it higher or lower? No, in this case, because we want to, we want to reproduce the same result, right? So we want to make it actually lower. Let's put it like 0.4. The thinking effort, we can, because it's only 6 transcripts, right? So it's fine, we can make it higher. The higher actually more accurate it is. And let's see, top P, okay, let's keep it like this because it's by default. So, okay, I think everything goes well. The model we can choose, Gemini 3 Flash, I think that's okay. So let's keep it Gemini 3 Flash, okay? And now what we can do is that we can drag all the interview, drag it here. Okay, so all your interviews are there. Okay. Unsupported file. Let's try. I'm not sure if it works. Let's try first. Okay. Identify the main topics here. No, because it's converting. Wait, extracting. Let's see. Let's see. No, it doesn't support Word documents. So what we can do is, yeah, it's not supporting Word. The easiest way is just to copy paste everything. Okay, you say identify the main topics, and then you just copy paste everything. Our image is good, and then second one. You can also use Gemini. If you have Gemini, you can also use Gemini. If you know, you can use Google Studio. Okay. Yeah, it's a little bit annoying. Okay, and now we can run. Now you should be able to do it. Okay, so the first topic is practical research application. So that is the first topic. So all participants use AI as a productivity multiplier. And this is the subtopic, okay? Coding and debugging, literature, text processing, etc. The second topic is reliability, hallucination, and verification, okay? The third topic is the thinking muscle and de-skilling. The fourth one is ethics, privacy, and confidentiality. Okay, the fifth one is rigor and reproducibility. Sixth one, institutional policy and equity. Seven one, responsibility and accountability. So that's the 7 topics they are discussing. Okay, and now we can do it again. So now you have a topic list of 7 topics, right? And now you can redo it again using the other 6 interviews, and then to see if you get the same result. But of course, our example is not very realistic, because if you only have 12 interviews, you don't need to split it into 2 because it's already quite small. But if you have like 2,000, 3,000, then of course you need to split it. Okay, and even if you only have 12 participants, you can do it yourself, right? You can just read it and then organize it yourself. So this is more related to when you have a large sample, like 50, 80 interviews, 100 interview, then this is a very nice approach. Okay. Yeah, so that's how you can do it. And I'm also going to introduce you a tool at QualitTaTi. So you can also go to QualitTaTi, and there is if you did not register, I recommend you to register, because tomorrow we are going to use it as well. So here you have a tool, it's called Theme Lens. And of course, you can also upload it there. So you can upload all the file. Okay. So for example, let's do the second subset. Okay. So I upload it there. And now we are going to compare the results. So I can select all and then analyze it. So this is the tool developed by us. So we use it supports a lot of documents. So it overcome all the problem of you have only limited contact window because we use some optimization. If you have really a lot of text, then it try to extract information first. Okay, so that's the theme it identified. The first one is hallucination and epistemic risk. And you can see who is talking about that. Okay, participant 1, 2, 3, and 6. They're talking about this. And you can see the example quote. It invented a source in the register of notary, etc. The second one is craft and apprenticeship erosion. Data privacy, confidentiality breach. So it's quite similar with the one that we get from Gemini, right? Institution policy lag, so they're more or less similar, but this one has 9 topics. So now you need to determine, okay, in the end, how detailed you want to go. Okay, you want to go with 7 topics or 9 topics. And one thing about here is really nice. You can see the theme relationship. When people are talking about hallucination, they're also talking about human in the loop verification. So you can see the connection between different topics. When people are talking about craft and apprenticeship erosion, it's also talk about the drafting partner paradigm. So now you know the relationship between different topics. It summarizes you the key insights, recommendation, and also here you can extract participant profile, tag interviews. So I will to show you advanced AI analysis. Yeah, so you can see participant 1 is talking about hallucination, craft is environmental sustainability concern. So you can see all the topic related to the specific participant. So all the 6 people are here, right? And then they will also extract the participant's age, occupation, location based on the interview script. If they don't find the information, they just leave it blank. Right here, it doesn't mention about the age, but it says it's a postdoc, so we just put it there. Okay. So it gives you a nice overview of the interview. And you can also export the result and share to other people as well. Okay, so now I will want you to do this exercise because it's a workshop. So it will be nice for you, to do this yourself. So what you need to do is that you can use any of the method. You can either use theme lens, or you can use AI Studio, or you can use GPT. Okay, but you need to come up with the topics, and then you will submit the topic here. Okay, I will give you 15 minutes to do this exercise. You also need to double check, use different model, double check. For the online audience, you can also do it and submit the assignment here.
There are some questions in the Q&A.
Okay. How does the credit work in QualitTaTi? How many papers in average could be analyzed using the basic 30 monthly credit? I think you can do 10 to 20 times, possibly. I think every analysis costs like 2 to 3 credits, so you can try to use it. Yeah. So the monthly credit will renew every month. So it's not a lot, but it just gives you the trial. What about the ethical and data protection issue uploading interview data to AI platform? So if you are using API, so again, you need to anonymize. So you need to anonymize the data. So if the data, you go through it, if it contain identifiable data, you should not upload it, or you should blur it. So for example, you need to delete it or use some fake information to replace it. And there is also a problem if you are not using API, you are just uploading directly to GPT. There is a chance that they will use your data for training, to train their model. So again, if your data is sensitive, you should never do that. Okay, you should use API, because for API, they promise they are not going to use your data for training purpose. I don't know how true it is, but at least it is written in the policy and the term in your usage like agreement. So in this case, using API is safer than just upload it to ChatGPT. And also, if you have Copilot or if you have Enterprise GPT, Enterprise Gemini, then your data stay in your own organization. So it's also it's much safer, right? So, and they are also not allowed to use it for training purpose. Okay, and could you please compare the reliability of using AI Studio for topic modeling versus Python-based topic modeling approach? Using large language model perform much better because it understand the context, understand the nuance, of the topic. And using Python-based topic modeling like LDA is actually very mechanical, and it's based on the co-occurrence of the words. For example, if these topics, they are all mentioning this word, then they are more likely to be in the same list. So in this case, if you have small, short text, for example, Twitter text, so the word is really limited. So in this case, the performance of LDA is really bad. But if you have news report, news article, you have very long text, right? So in this case, the performance of LDA is actually okay, but you still need to be the one who decide the topic. What is the topic? So it's based on a lot of human evaluation. So it is not as objective as using large language model. Okay, but it's really difficult to convince the reviewer. But I think nowadays most reviewer, they accept the fact because there's so many studies about the comparison of using LDA, NNF compared to LLM, and the results are very consistent. So they perform better than Python-based topic modeling. So you can cite those papers to, if your reviewer is not happy with that. Okay, and there is one about Notebook LM research. I think we demonstrated this morning, so you can use Notebook LM to create a report to connect different topics, articles, right? Different PDF. You can also create audio. You can also create an infographic, some mind map as well. So this help you to understand better your, the literature, the context, etc. Okay, no more questions? Can AI tools also did in extracting and scraping data from X and Reddit? AI tool can do that if the website is very structured and easy to scrape. But for X and Reddit, no, you need to get the data from API. Especially Reddit, now they become so difficult to scrape. Before, you can easily apply an API from Reddit and then easily get data from Reddit. But now they make it more difficult. You need to apply for a scholar permission. So you need to fill in a form, submit your application, and if yes, they give you the API key, then you can script it. And for X as well, used to be really easy, but now it's very expensive. You need to pay to get the data. And for AI tool, no, because they cannot. For X and Reddit, they have dynamic content. It's not a very static website, so it's not possible to extract or script data using AI tool. For like newspaper, for like some less dynamic website is easy. For example, your school website is very easy to scrape data. Okay. And also need to be careful if you use certain way to scrape data, you need to follow, also the ethical guideline, because some of the website, when you scrape data, you are consuming the computing or the server. You are adding server load to this, it make the server slower. So you also need to make sure that you follow the instruction. Okay, is there a quick way to convert to PDF? For example, if I have 100 interviews, I think for like GPT or they support Word as well. So you don't not necessarily convert it to PDF. But if you need to convert them all at the same time, pay attention to our content on day 3, because we were going to teach you using codecs. So you can actually put it in a folder and ask codecs to write a simple Python code to convert it at one time. It's so easy, so super powerful. So pay attention to the day 3. So it's a very good idea. I can actually create an exercise that we can do on day 3. How do we keep our work safe while using LLM? There is a very thin line between extracting information while giving out your work. Don't worry, you will not. So some people, I heard some PhD students, they say, okay, they don't dare to upload their, the idea to GPT. They scared that GPT is going to steal it. They also say, okay, just recently I chat with GPT about this, and then I saw somebody with the similar paper. No, it's not going to happen. Like, they're able to read your data, but like the chance that you will that they will steal your idea is really, really, really low. Like you don't need to worry about it. And also some people scared that the data will go into GPT's brain. And then if people ask about this, they can get your idea. No, it's not going to happen. It's because this reinforcement learning is not real time. Okay, so the conversation of between you and GPT, if they use it for training, you will be trained for the next version. So of course, it's not going to happen in the short time. Okay, don't need to worry too much on this part, but it's more about whether your data is sensitive. If it's sensitive, you need to be careful. But it's about sharing an idea. No, you don't need to worry about that. Okay. Should we connect a drive in AI Studio? Yes, you can also connect it to your AI, your Google Drive to AI Studio, but they have the access to your folder. So if your folder has sensitive data, be careful, because putting things in Google Drive is considered to be safe. But using an LLM to read it, that is less safe. Okay. I guess it's all the Q&A. So meanwhile, you can submit your assignment, okay? Okay, do I need a password for QualitTaTi? Yes, you need to create a password. You need to register. And you can also share your invite code, because if you share your invite code, both of you will get 50 credits, so you can do more exercise using it. So everyone can share it there. Registration is falling for me. So why do you did not get a verification code? If no, check your junk email, because most of the time it goes to your junk email. So you can get the verification code there. Yeah, you can share your invite code here, and then other people can use it. It say registration failed when I try to register. Maybe try using another browser. Can you register successfully? QualitTaTi? Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's mostly go to the junk mailbox. So you can. So if you did not register, you better register this evening because tomorrow we are going to use it to build survey. So about this platform, most of the feature are actually for free. Okay, like survey, you don't need to subscribe to Qualtrics, paying such a large amount of money. So for survey, it's completely for free. For QDA, it's also free. So you don't need to pay 10,000 NOK, like 1,000 euro to 1,000 euro for MVivo. You can use it for free. But for AI feature, then you need to pay for it because the AI feature is very expensive for us. We cannot cover that. We know if you use GPT, call the API of GPT is super expensive, so we cannot cover that. But for the rest, we cover it, and for the survey is for free, and for the QDA is also for free. Okay, I give another 4 minutes for the exercise, so you can do it. Will uploading my words for proofreading on AI platform safe, or it may lead to plagiarism problem in the future? No, it will not have this problem. So uploading your work for proofreading is completely fine. As long as your work is not sensitive. Okay, the chance that your unpublished work will get leaked on this platform is very, very, very low. And also plagiarism problem is not problematic here. Can QualitTaTi analyze data in other language? Like, yes, it can support 10 languages, French, German, Spanish, Japanese, Arabic. So it supports 10 languages. Okay, so let me take a look of the work you have done. Okay, I will share my screen so everybody can see it. Okay, so we have from Bart clause. So let's take a look here. Okay, so the set one is using AI Studio. Unreliable assistant, that's the first topic you found, right? The epistemic crisis, data privacy, pedagogical anxiety, the challenge of scientific reproducibility, accountability. So in the end, you have 7 topics as well. So the subset 2, again, you have functional intellectual divide, epistemic vigilance, and fluency trap, right? So all the topics here. So in the end, you are the one who need to decide what, because some of the topics they're overlapping with each other, but just in different name, right? So you at this moment, as a human, your uniqueness is reflected here. So you are the one who need to decide which topic to go, more interesting or fitting with your theoretical framework, your research direction. So you are the one who need to decide which topic to focus. Okay, the fabricated citation as formative trauma. Okay, so you can see the wording is very different from Gemini versus Claude, right? So the wording is quite different. Okay, environmental costs. So you can see Claude actually get 10 topics and Gemini get 7 to 8 topics. Okay, Claude number 2. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, so let's take a look of another one. Maybe, okay. This one maybe. I don't know what's this. Okay, this one. Okay, that's the Word document, AI adoption and productivity. Okay, so this looks more like a ChatGPT format. So probably you get it from ChatGPT. You know, once you deal with all these models, then you really know their format, you know, their layout, their preference. Okay, great. So I hope you find this approach quite useful. But this one is still very easy to perform. The next topic we are going to introduce will be more challenging. Okay, so you need to well prepare. So it's automatic content